It's Friday, and that means it's time for another episode of Cards to Watch. When we're talking about Magic the Gathering, depending on the format you're playing in, it leads you down the path of the cards you want to get your hands on. Whether you like Pauper, Commander, Vintage, Legacy, there'll be a certain path of cards you go after, and as I start to get closer to some of these amazing Commander cards to build my Commander decks, I realize I'm missing a lot. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks for hanging out with me today on another episode of Cards to Watch. In today's episode, guys, I'm going to be showing you a whole bunch of cards that are having some very unusual sales patterns. A lot of these cards I hope will get reprinted in the very near future, and there are cards that I want to add to my Commander deck, but also some friends of mine mentioned some of these cards are selling at unusual levels through email, Discord, and I took a look, and it really is something to watch. So let's go ahead, take a look at some of these amazing cards, and I can't wait to see your comments in the comments section. Let's get to it. The first card we're taking a look at today is Jet Medallion from Tempest at $45 Canadian near mint. The average price is $39.75 US. The market price is $40.42. And of course, we've got €28.03 to get this card into your house. The sales are incredibly high for this card. I went to buy this for my Commander deck, for my Throwbold, as people on the channel like to call it, which is Kobolds and Thralls, and I couldn't get one. They were sold out locally. I'm going to have to probably check out TCG Player or something, but nothing. I was hoping just to grab it. You know, it's one of those cards I thought I could just pick up and pluck away, and there's none. And then I started looking on TCG Player and looking at some of these other sites, put some emails out, and before you knew it, I realized this thing has hundreds of sales. Like, this is crazy how fast it sells, and it sells quite regularly. So cards like this and all of the medallions are probably a card you want to keep your eye on. I started looking at some of the other medallions, and guess what? They're all sold out too. Unless you go to a big site like a Card Kingdom or going to a TCG Player, you're not really going to find a lot of these locally, which is very fascinating to me, which means either the buy lists aren't high enough and people just aren't trading these cards in because they probably only have one or two. It's just a fascinating thing to keep an eye on, because if this card doesn't get reprinted in the next couple of years, it's just going to keep going up. And the OG original is what I want to own, because I remember seeing these as a kid and playing with them inside my decks. So I want to have an old one to go into my Commander deck. Now, the question I have for you all, since I got you here and you've watched this far into the video, is should I be having this in my Commander deck? I'd like to know opinions. Put that in the comment section or send me an email. All right, guys, the next card is the Wandering Emperor. Now, this is a brand new release. This is Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, but you have to think the money moves on pretty quick in Magic. Kamigawa is going to be open probably for another 6 to 8 months regularly, and it's going to start drifting off as new products come out that attract people's attention and their wallets. This card started out really cheap. I remember it being like $18, $19 Canadian. It's now $40 Canadian. The average price is $34.10 US. The market price is $32.47. A foil is going to run you $38.24 US, which, you know, bothers me. It's too close together. And it's €26.91 to get that card in your house. Now, the formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Standard. The sales are really high. This has been in my top 10 videos, my hot 10 on Saturday for a long time. Okay, it's been around for quite a while. It kind of pops in and out in the 600 to 700 sales range. But what happens if people slow down, don't open it, and this thing rotates out and doesn't get a reprint the next year or two? This card is going to find a home in Commander, most definitely, because it has flash. It does multiple effects which can save a player. It ties up mana if somebody has to counter it. It's just an all-around kind of auto-include for me in a lot of decks I would like to build. So, fascinating card to keep an eye on. I like the fact that it's a low casting cost, easy to get out there card, pop out creatures, kill things, gain life. It has a lot going for it. And that could spell trouble down the line with a massive price increase on a card like this if Wizards doesn't monitor its level load of how much they put into production. Now, when we're talking about Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger Battle for Zendikar, I've already said this card should be reprinted. We got formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Modern, and Pioneer. Now, the sales are really high, okay? Seriously, like high. But not only that, the foil sales are high. They're steady. They're selling 8 to 10 copies a week. That's a lot. For a $150 foil card, that's a lot of money we're talking about. This card needs to come back into some special edition. I don't care if it's double flipple Trip Masters. I don't care if it comes under a new name. They gotta reprint this guy and get his price down. Since Emrakul is banned and you can't use him in Commander, this is kind of like your next best friend, right? For a Tron deck. So I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm lucky I have a ton of them, I'll be honest. I bought a whole whack load at a really good price a long time ago, and I still kept 8. But it just gets me that this card is not as available to players who might like to play it. I'd love to see the price cut in half down to 40 bucks. The average price is $80 Canadian near mint. The average is $65.67 US. The market is $57.80 US. That foil is $148.31 US, and it's €45.24 to get that card to your house. And look at that. Look at the wave it does, right? The stepping stool. It's going to start trending upward if it doesn't get reprint soon. Come on, Ulamog. I know you're devastating. You're ceaselessly hungry. We'll get you a Big Mac. Get a reprint. All right, guys. The next card is Aura Thief. Now, Urza's Destiny. Great card. I enjoy it. I like the idea of, taking everyone's enchantments. Kind of a cool idea. It was a little bit higher. It's trended down a bit, but the sales are high on the card. So it's probably going to bounce back very soon. A foil, because don't forget, this is Urza's Destiny. First set of foils ever. A foil's still going to run you around $200 US. But locally, $15 Canadian was sold out, just so you guys know. The average is $11.87 US. The market is $11.67 US. And it's €5.12 to get this card into your house. Now that high sales with a low card like this, it's one of those things you're going to keep an eye on. Go for the near mint if you want it. If you're going to put it in a deck like Commander, it's awesome. Commander, Legacy Vintage only is for the formats it's allowed in. But what an interesting card. Built into the right deck, like a blue-white kind of deck, would be a fascinating thing to see. I like it. It does get play in Commander. All right, guys, our next card. Homeward Path, Commander 2016. This card caught my eye because I thought it was kind of fascinating to gain control of all my creatures back just by tapping it. I like that. Somebody steals my stuff, I can take it all back. That is awesome to be in my Throw Bowl deck. It's a card I'm looking at. Now it's $23 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $14 US. The market is $14.32 US, and it's €10.09 to get this card in your house. Of course, the format Commander, Legacy Vintage. The sales are really high. Okay, it's selling a lot of copies, and I can see why. Even if I'm not going to use it in my Throw Bowl deck, it's going to find a home somewhere. I'm going to have it as a sideboard card. I'm going to keep this around for another Commander deck at some point. So I'm probably going to pick up a play set of this card. Is this a card you use in your Commander deck? You guys let me know. All right, let's go down to our next one, and that is going to be Maze of Ith, and specifically the Dark. I know it has lots of reprints out there, guys, but it's the Dark I want to talk to you about today. The Dark already has high sales. People are realizing how great this set is, the iconic artwork that goes along with this set, some of the unique mechanics built into it, like City of Shadows, the Preacher, the Exorcist. Now, it's a $50 Canadian for a near mint copy of this card. That's actually pretty cheap as far as I'm concerned. The average price is $40.60 US. The market is $48.86 US, and it's €42.23 to get that card to your house. The format's Commander, Vintage, Legacy, Old School. Remember, Old School too, guys. Now, the sales are high because people like the Dark version. I've talked to people about this. Remember what I said. OG versions will go up. They won't be constrained by reprints. When there are 50 different types of reprints out there, and somebody wants to bling their deck out, they're going to be looking for the original. And the best copy of that original that they can lay their hands on. And if you're a person who controls the market or wanted to get this card at some point, the time to buy is now. Do not wait later and then cry about not being able to get it. It's $50, skip a takeout meal, pick it up and get it done. I know I went ahead and bought one for myself because I wanted my Commander decks. All right, guys, the next one is Urza Saga, and I deserve this, okay? We all know I made fun of this card a bit and said it wasn't going to be that great, and I was wrong, and I apologize. You guys already heard me say that. Modern Horizons 2. I still kept a few of these around. I didn't trade them away. I still have the foil ones and stuff that I got in the pre-release kits. It's $50 Canadian near mint. The average is $37.98 US. The market is $32.44 US. And of course, you can see the foil is $72.89. I'm so glad I have those two foils. It's blowing my mind. And I'm probably going to find a very nice home for it. Now, it's €36.28 to get that card in your house. The format, of course, being Commander, Vintage, Legacy, and Modern. It's going to see a lot of play in Modern and Commander. Keep that in mind. I haven't actually seen it used in Vintage or Legacy myself, but I'm sure it will find a home there as well if they want it to. The sales are really high on this card. And with Modern Horizons 2 kind of being left to the sidelines now and not being opened a lot, expect these cards to raise their value. They're going to go up in price because Wizards can't keep up with the reprint. And the sales volume this high, already this late into the cards print run tells me people are starting to amass collections of these cards for future flipping. It's something you need to be aware of in case you're a person who doesn't own at least one. Now our next card, Hall of Heliod's Generosity, Modern Horizons. Original, right? Ah. Now, $15 Canadian near mint. The average is $10.18 US. The market is $10.23 US. A foil, $21.94 US. And it's €5.17 to get that card to your house. The formats, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Modern. And the sales are really high. I do have this card inside my Angel deck because it puts a target enchantment from my graveyard back on top of my library. And depending on what you're building your deck around, and you guys know I have my Sarah Sanctum and stuff in there. I have quite a few Circle of Protections and enchantments in there to protect my deck. This is just a game-saving card, and I just don't see it being reprinted anytime soon again. So it's going to go up in value. I'm glad I have one. I'll probably pick up one more just to be safe. All right, the next card here, guys, is going to be Mana Confluence. Now, I'll be honest. Since I'm new to Commander, guys, and I do have some copies of this, don't get me wrong. I have, I don't know, 8 or 10 copies, but I did not know this was the value. The last time I looked at the card, it was $10. Okay, I admit that was years ago, but I've never really used it for anything. I just didn't trade them in because I figured I might use it someday. It was like a city of brass to me. So, yes, Journey into Nyx, $60, but it's sold out locally. The average price is $40.97 US. The market is $41.23 US. A foil is $60 US. And it's €22.27 to get this card into your house. The formats, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Modern. Like, it's crazy. Look at this thing. Ah! The sales are really high, okay? This card needs a reprint. It's got to be tamed and tampered down a little bit in price. I got a lot of mine back when I opened Theros because I opened a whole bunch of that product. I think I got one in my Commander, what was it? I think Commander had it, right? Commander Legends 2020, I think, had copies of it. So I think I got one there as well, a foil copy. And I have a couple play sets I had before that just from regular openings. And even with all that, it seems this card still can't be tamed and has very high volume of sales and value. So keep an eye on this card. I mean, I have them in my Sliver deck too because it taps for any mana. I mean, Slivers, can't say enough. It's not going in my Throw Bowl deck, but it's something to keep an eye on. Now, these are the cards I wanted to share with you today. There's a lot more, and I'll have another video next Friday going over some of these cards as well because there's quite a few on the sales volume. I just want to track a few more data sheets and see how the sales come up when the emails come in. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope this shed a light on some of the cards out there that probably aren't being mentioned on the big boy channels. You know, the guys who got their pants on straight. They graduated Magic University, unlike the Moxman. And let's see what we can get doing on this one because it's kind of crazy to see some of these price volumes. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. And of course, if you have Commander hints for my Throw Bowl deck, you know I want to hear about it. Thanks again, guys. Have an awesome day wherever you are in the world of Magic. And of course, an awesome shout out to all the fantastic supporters I have on my channel. You guys are the patrons, man. You're the ones who make this happen and support my channel each and every day. Patrons rock! All right, you made it to the end. You're here with me. Well, guess what? I'm not doing anything for you today. You got suckered in. No, really, I hope you guys all have an awesome day. You're all awesome. You're amazing people. I love it when you guys make it to the end of the video. And I'm late cooking dinner, so this is just going to end. Have an awesome day.